Alright, welcome back to CG225. This time I'm just going to be doing the entire tutorial for the fire hydrant project. This should not take terribly long, as it's only about half of what you need to do this week. So once you have My open, the first thing we're doing, always, is setting our project folder. So under File, Set Project, down here. I'm going to find our folder. I'm just going to use the same one that I used last time I did this class. It's just called Fire Hydrant. You can see I already have some files in here previously. And I'm going to do exactly the right naming scheme as well. It should be that, but with your name. Or actually, sorry, that's saving the Maya file. I mean to set the project. My bad. Yeah, create default workspace and then save as. Except for I'm not going to do that just yet. I'm just going to name it Fire Hydrant 01. And this time there is not a reference image provided for the project. So you're going to have to go on Google and search Fire Hydrant and just look for a good image that works as a reference. Ideally, you'd want one with as little perspective warping with the lens as possible. I already have one saved to my folder already that I'll be using personally. So I'm just going to close that window and go into my front orthographic plane to import the image plane under View. And since we set our project folder to the fire hydrant folder, it'll automatically look anytime you are prompted to open a file location or save your Maya project to a place on your computer rather than doing it like the root of your C drive or whatever it does by default, it will just look at this folder immediately. And then once you have it on a different machine, you can link all the files to the same project folder and it will recognize them. So I'm using my fire hydrant reference. I'm going to move it up here and scale it so that it's just a bit bigger. I'll line it up with the center line right here. All right, gonna slide it back in perspective space. I'm gonna make a cylinder. I'm gonna hold down the X key to snap it to the grid and move it up a bit. And I'm going to do something a little different for manipulating the size of the cylinder. So I want to reduce the number of spokes there are on the cylinder so that I can have more detail in the other parts of it. If you go under the Channel Box Layer Editor tab, and then once you have your cylinder selected, you click on this button here, Polycylinder 1. You can change the number of subdivisions in the axis. I'm going to set it to 16 for this one. Actually, I'm going to look at what I did last time for this project to see if I'm doing the same thing. I have it pulled up on the wrong screen. There it is. Alright, so last time looks like I had 12 spokes to my fire hydrant. So I'll just type in the number 12 right there. You can also mess with these other values if you want to increase the radius or the height. This is not the same as just scaling your object, since you'll see, I tried to point with my finger. When you scale it, it changes these numbers on the right. But when you change these numbers down here, it doesn't change the scaling, because this is just the base dimensions of your object. You can even have it be a tiny, tiny line. Yeah, I'm recording. Okay, I was just double checking. What's the next step? We're just going to start the modeling process. I think I'm going to go pretty quickly this time. Actually, we're going to mess with layers first. Um, so say you're trying to like click on your cylinder, but you keep accidentally clicking on this image in the background. You can select it and then hit this little button here with the circle under the layer editor tab. And if you have something selected and you click that one, then it will create a layer with all of the objects that you have selected. Then you can press that V button to turn it off and on for visibility. And there are a few other ones. If you set it to R for reference, you won't be able to click on it. You won't be able to select it. But if you do want to click on it again, you can turn that off and just have it go back to normal. I'm going to put our fire hydrant in layer 2 and name this one ref. You can't have any spaces in these layer names. You'll be able to see what all the different things do there. Right, let's just get started with modeling. I think I'm going to go pretty fast this time. Or just at whatever my own pace is. I'm going to scale it out so that it matches the height there. I'm going to move the whatever it's called. Gosh, I don't remember. By pressing D and moving it down by holding V to snap it to the vertices at the bottom. And then I'm going to scale it up to the top here to match the height of the fire hydrant. And now I'm going to just zoom in on this orthographic view here. And I'm going to turn on the X-ray mode. And now I will grab my beloved multi-cut tool that can be kind of tricky to use, and start making cuts on the different parts I want to detail of this fire hydrant. So I'm going to want one here, one about down here, because I want to scale this part in the middle out here. Let's see, I'll do one there. We're not going to be able to capture all of the detail in this fire hydrant, so I'm just getting the important parts, and then I'm going to see how much I can add later on. I'm going to add one there, and here, and what else? I'll do one here, here, and here to start. All right, I'm going to go into face selection mode and just scale this part in by holding, I'm just going to do a quick extrusion by holding shift and scaling it in a bit. All right. Now I'm going to grab these edge loops, scale them in to follow the silhouette. Actually, I want to grab both of these at once. Whoa! It's a bit much. Actually, I want to grab that one too. And I'm going to grab these faces. Oh, I didn't grab the ones on the top. Meant to grab those too. Extrude that in. And there's the top of the fire hydrant, pretty much. I'm just going to need to scale this part out. Holding shift and scaling it to make an extrusion. I don't actually need that edge loop, so to save on polygon space, I'm going to double click it and do Control Delete so I get rid of the vertices. If I don't do that and I just press like regular delete, then I go into vertex selection mode, you'll notice that these are left behind and they create this really annoying end gone on your model. So whenever you delete an edge loop, make sure you do Control Delete to get rid of the vertices that are attached to it. Let's see, how many triangles are we at right now? 360? Alright, that's plenty. I'm going to select this loop of faces here. I'm going to scale it out by grabbing it from the top plane. I'm going to Control Z and get it right perfect this time. And I'll grab this edge and just scale it out 2 to match that silhouette. Okay. Now here's the part where you can have a bit of creative freedom. You'll notice that when I did this project in the past, I didn't, while using the same reference image, I didn't actually make this part in the middle bigger than these ones on the sides. I just made them all the same size because it'd be easier to model that way, but it still looks like a regular fire hydrant. All right, I'm gonna take a look at my topology here to see if I can replicate it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 on both sides. Okay. So they're all evenly spaced apart. I'm going to do it based on this one here. Nice thing about multi-cut tool is that you can make evenly spaced cuts if you hold down Control and Shift for your edge loops. And now I'm going to take these parts off the sides. I'm going to hold tab to do paint select to get all these squares for this one. Actually, let me double take. I don't know how I did this. It looks really nice. um, let's see if I can remember how this works properly. I'm just going to extrude it out, scale it in a bit. I'm going to do this to flatten it. And then I want to circularize this. Let's see if this... that didn't work. Oh no. Okay. Let's see if it works for doing it this way. That also doesn't work at all. What am I doing? Oh no. Well, we're seeing my brainstorming process, I guess. Well, that's not working too well. I'm just going to go back to before I extruded that, and I'm going to make a new cylinder that I'm just going to weld it onto. I'm going to hold J to do snap rotation. Let's see, and I want this one to have the same number of axes of 12. And I'm going to make it so the center, actually I'm going to turn on wireframe mode, of this lines up with that vertex there. And now I'm going to select this object and delete all of these faces here. Ah, what the heck? Ah! I'm going to do a bit of Frankensteining here. And I'm going to combine these two objects using that tool there. And now I'm going to do some target welding. So make sure I'm in vertex selection mode. Ooh, image came into my screen. Now I'm just going to target weld all of these corners to the other corners. This is going to be a little strange at first, but I can make it pretty, I promise. I just have to fill that hole there. So I'm holding Shift and left click while I'm selecting this edge to do the fill hole, but oh, why didn't it work? Oh no, why is it not working? Did I just select the whole thing? Oh no. What's going on? If I do a bridge, nope. Why is the fill hole tool not working for me? I don't know. That's bizarre. Does it work on that side? No, it doesn't. What the heck? That's fine. I'm just gonna grab this vertex here and just move it down. I'm gonna do that all around the other sides too. Okay. Now we have what looks like, you know, just a normal fire hydrant thing. I think I'm actually gonna get rid of the cap up here. Selecting all those faces, then grabbing this edge, and then scaling it in. There's going to be a little hole there momentarily. And I'll make sure I select all those vertices and nothing else. Yep. And I'm going to merge them to the center using this tool. Yep, that worked. And rather than making it all one mesh, I'm actually just going to make a separate little piece to replicate the pentagon-shaped cap up there by turning this down to 5 and making it really small and placing it flush against the top. Let's see, it should be about that big. So technically these are separate objects, but I can just combine them into one now. I'll have to remember that later if I were to UV map this. But for now, it looks nice, and that's what the goal is. Actually, I don't want to merge it just yet. I want to leave it separate because I'm going to put the same thing on the other 3 ends. Okay, now to get this part to look like that instead of just weird prongs sticking off. How am I going to do that? I'm going to do some more edge loops. Whoop, wrong tool. Yeah, that's going to work okay. Not as well as I like. As you see, it's following this more than that. So I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to do it like this, using the other function of the multi-cut tool. Yeah, I think that'll work okay. Let's go back to perspective. I'm going to move this in. Phone's beeping at me. Just going to extrude all these in. I'm going to do it this way this time. I don't like it doing that way. I'm just going to have it extrude in these. Ugh. Whoa. Why is it doing it like that? That's weird. Okay, I'll just grab the middle box. You're being weird. Alright. Now I'm going to grab this thing up here. I'm going to hold shift and just drag it down to clone it. I'm going to rotate it, holding J while I do the rotation to have it snap to 15-degree angles. And I'm just going to hold the V key to snap it as I move it to that vertex on the point there. And there's 1/2 of the fire hydrant. And I'm just going to use the mirror tool to make it look the exact same on the other side. Looks like it worked perfectly first try. If it didn't do that, you might have to change the axis position to the object or changing it to a mirror over a different plane. Ooh, I want it to be the world this time because that's how my work works best. Because I have my fire hydrant in the exact center of the world. Let's say I want to make some edits to both sides at once. There's a symmetry option. I'm going to grab this vertex here, and since I'm mirroring over the x-axis, just like I did for my world mirror, it'll get it on both sides. So I scale this up to make it a bit more round. It'll do the exact same thing on the other side. I actually want to do the same thing to this thing. I'm going to turn symmetry off so I don't accidentally get double symmetry when I do the mirroring. Yep, perfect. Okay, now I have to do it in the middle. Ugh. I need to take a stretch first. Okay. How many triangles am I at? 750. I have plenty of room. Okay. Is it possible to do rotational symmetry? I'm just going to duplicate it. Oh. Oh, why is it not centered? What the heck? The idea is for it to look like that. I'm just going to select these faces and then hold shift and select the rest of it and then delete the rest of it so that we're just left with this part. And I'm going to try to make this attached to the rest of the model. Doing a bit more Frankensteining. This is going to be a bit strange. I'm going to turn on X-ray mode for this. What? Oh, I clicked the wrong button. I'm going to merge these two parts of the model. It's hard to tell what I'm looking at. Actually, I'm going to delete some faces first. Just all these parts in the middle here. If I can get that to work pretty, then this will be really cool. Might have to add some more edges to the corners. Do a bit of deleting from the inside. Let me think. Okay. Okay. Back to X-ray mode. And let's go to vertex. Oh, right, we have to merge them. Combine. Oh, this is looking bizarre, but I know the geometry of my object, so let's do this. Oh, it's because I have to go and put my camera on the inside so that it will allow me to click it. So otherwise, I guess it won't work. Which parts are my model and which parts are not my model? I'm gonna change this just a bit. You can see me thinking, I think. I want that to go to there. Which part of this goes to here? That will go there. That will also go there. Oh, it's on the inside. Make sure I'm not accidentally marquee selecting that. Oh, it's like inside. That's awkward. That's why it's not letting me target weld it. What if I put my camera in here? Oh no. Camera, please. Let me target weld it. Okay, I'm just gonna move it out so that it'll be easy to manipulate. And do the same thing on the other side. I could be using the symmetry tool right now to make this process a little easier, but I'm not doing that. Make sure I'm just selecting this one so I don't accidentally weld all of them to the same point. Because if you have multiple vertices selected and then you do the target weld tool, it'll affect every single one that you have selected. That will go there. That will just go down there. That will just go down there. Here to there. Here to there. Here to there. This is gonna look strange. What the heck happened to my shelf? Oh, I just scrolled. Okay, so I need to move some vertices around to make this look normal again. That's okay. I'm just gonna select this one and this one, and I'm gonna scale them out horizontally. You know, and I'm gonna select all 4 of these and scale it in these 2 dimensions at once. This will make the surface of my fire hydrant look a little strange, but I promise it's fine. I'm going to just merge these together so that there's fewer triangles in my thing. Because they're not adding anything. Actually, that one is. I have to leave that one. It doesn't look exactly the same as the other ones, but it looks fine. I'm actually going to grab all these vertices and scale it up a bit so that it looks more like the other one, like that I'm referencing. I'm also going to grab these 4 vertices and scale them vertically a bit. Which is, yeah, up and out. It does make the cylinder of my fire hydrant look weird, but it's fine. I like how it looks that way. If I turn off wireframe mode, then it's very polygonal because all the normals are just hard edges right now. I'll go through and decide what parts I want to be hard edges once I'm done. And as for this thing, I'm going to do the same thing I did before, where I just clone it and rotate it and snap it to the front. And there we go. We're actually currently at 800 triangles, so I have a lot more detail I can add. Since we're supposed to be about 1500 to 1700, so like 1600 would be the sweet spot, and I'm at like literally half of that. Harden that edge, just because it looks weird. So there's so much more I can do with this, and I'm going to start by adding some more. I'm going to start actually by making these edge loops look normal by changing the normals on them. Haha, I like my pun. Whoops, I don't want that one. Does that look normal? Almost. We have to do a few more. Oh, it doesn't go all the way around on that one. I'm just pressing the G key to repeat the last command I did, which was soften edge. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Okay, I'm just crazy. It's fine. I want all these edges to be soft as well. So I'm going through and selecting them manually. Because they're not part of a proper edge loop. Okay. Looks a little strange because it's so low poly, but it's fine. I can add... So say I want to... Oh, right, this is improper edge loop surface. So I just need to select all that, then scale it in so I can have more room to work with here. I do Control E so that it preserves the soft looking normals that I have for the... Oh, never mind. It didn't actually do that. Does it do it if I do that one? Nope, I just have to do it on my own either way. Ah! Okay, it's fine. Just soften that edge. And grab this guy and scooch him out. Oh, not that one. Go back to object mode. Grab this guy and scooch him out. 950. I'm gonna go back to symmetry mode so I can edit both of these sides at the same time. I'm gonna select all these faces. It's getting both sides at once. Cool. Scale it in. And then I'm just gonna, oop, press the wrong button apparently. Slide it out. Since I know it's gonna do the same thing, I'm just gonna go ahead and soften those edges now. Looks better already. I'm gonna leave those ones as they are. I matched 1050 triangles. I can put an edge loop here. And I'm just going to grab all of these faces and scale it in this way. Oh no, what is it doing? Why is it being weird? Oh, that's bizarre. I don't like that. What the fuck? Sorry for swearing. Oh no. Oh, it's because I'm still in symmetry mode. My bad. I forgot about that. If you try to do a symmetry on, it'll just do it on like both the sides at once. And that'll happen. I'm gonna add edge loop here. And I'm gonna extrude this part out, changing the thickness. Not by that much, just by 0.1. Yeah, if I change the thickness, it works just fine. Scale this part in. That part can be deleted. And scale this part in. Nice. Alright, I'm going to do something pretty similar to the bottom here. I'm just going to guesstimate it. Doesn't need to be precise. Nope, I don't like how that turns out. I can just do Control E and then go back to scaling. And then do this. And that way it'll preserve the normals that I had set to it originally. Oh, we still have so much room to have more detail. Maybe I could even add those bolts that go around the middle of the top. I'm gonna add this part that's like around the middle down here. Ugh, that looks bizarre. Can I... That isn't... That's not right. Let me think for a second. Here, I know. I'm gonna move this part up. And I'm just gonna... Never mind, I'm not gonna do that. What the heck am I gonna do to make it keep this corner here at the bottom? Okay, I have an idea. for keeping the rest of the fire hydrant rounded. I think we're going to replicate what I did here on this one. And that is going to require me to... I'm just going to make that there. I'm going to delete these faces, and I'm going to select the edge here at the bottom. I'm going to extrude it up. Oh, you poor thing. And I'm just going to go through... You can actually target weld edges as well, and it'll do 2 vertices at once. There. And soften those edges. What the heck? No, I want object mode. Oh, this edge is hard as well for some reason. There we go. Except now this part is not soft either. I don't know what happened there. Oh, if I soften it, then it looks like that. Maybe I'll just keep it hardened. When you're working in high poly, the hardness and softness of your edges doesn't matter quite as much, but in low poly like this, it actually does matter. Because it will affect the way that your model looks later on once it's textured. I'm going to soften these parts. Because I feel like the way that the fire hydrant is constructed, that's all technically one piece. And not one piece as in the manga/TV show. I'm at that many triangles. Alright. Let's see if I can get that at just the right spot. Cool, we're at 1300. I'm gonna take this thing. I'm trying to wireframe. Ooh, not that one. So I'm gonna temporarily add an edge loop to this part here, right here in the middle. And I'm going to clone this and just snap it. Oh, whoops. Where'd my wrangle go? I'm just going to snap it into alternating points around here. It's a good thing this thing has an even number of sides, otherwise it would look a little strange. I'm going to select all these. Whoops, accidentally unselected it. And I'm going to slide them down. I'm actually going to combine them all into one. And I'm going to slide them down here, and I'm just going to scale it up. Yeah, 1500 triangles now. So if I wanted, I could just stop here after I combine this all into one mesh, that is. Yeah, I think I'll stop there. Looks pretty nice. Now for doing the screenshots and render of your fire hydrant as the final part of the project, I'm going to hide the reference image and I'm going to add a new material to it. I still have AI standard surface as a favorite material from last time. If you didn't watch the last video, then to do that, you go to assign new material, Don't type anything in there. Go to Arnold. Oops. Actually, that's, yeah, Arnold shader. Then this one here, you can add it to your favorites. And then I'm just going to do this one. And now I want to delete type history for my fire hydrant. Deleting by type history increases, fixes the memory of your object, but it removes your ability to control Z things. If things are running really slowly in your scene, then you probably have a lot of memory on all of your objects, so you can just select them and do delete by type history. And then freeze transformations to lock its default location and scale and rotation in the center of the scene, or wherever you have it. Now to make it look fire hydrant-y, I'm just gonna make it kind of a red color, the reddish orange, orangish red. And I'm gonna raise the metal, the metalness on it just a bit, and the roughness to around there. And I kind of want to have my scene be a little pretty for rendering it. So I'm just going to create a plane here. And I'm going to assign an AI standard surface to it as well. And for the color, actually no, not for the color. For the opacity, I'm going to assign a ramp by clicking that checkbox there. And I'm going to make it a circular ramp. And I'm going to flip these positions. Because of the opacity, it will look for the white parts will be the parts that you can see, and the black parts are the parts that you cannot see. And I'm going to make the color of it sort of dull grassy green. And I'm going to do just a sky dome light. Because the rendering doesn't need to be super pretty. I'm going to make the color of it sort of bluish, like a sky on a cloudy day. And I'm going to save my scene. I'm just looking at it. I'm going to save as, yeah, just the same one. I have different sounds than the average person on my computer. I'm going to create a directional light now. I'm going to move it up here, and then change the angle on it to be pointing down to the little tiny bit to the left. And to get since we're about to mess with rendering stuff, I'm going to save because it'll probably crash. And I'm just going to do a quick preview render to see if it looks pretty. I'm going to turn off that. Yeah, so you see my partially transparent ground there. Gives it room to cast a shadow. Normally I'd go ahead and do a render at this point, hold on. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to set, so I want to render using my GPU, since it's better at doing that. And since GPU is really fast at doing math, I'm going to set the anti-aliasing to 9. It'll take longer, but it'll look nice in the preset. Do HD 1080. That's what we're going to do for every single render in this class. And to get a nice view for it, I'm going to click the gate mask button, and to lock this position in case I move my camera later and I want to come back to it, I'm going to go to View, Bookmarks. I'm going to edit bookmark. This appeared up on my other screen for some reason. I do another bookmark, and I'm just going to call it Render. So now, like, say I want to go back to editing my model and I make changes to it or whatever, I can just go back to bookmarks and click render and it'll take me back exactly where I was. All right, I'm going to select the ground and everything else and add it to a new layer so that I can turn it off when I take my screenshots. I'm going to call this layer lighting. Now let's see, so we need to take some wireframe screenshots of your model as well as doing your render, which I showed you the specs for. We have to do a, oops, I have it on the wrong window again. A scene like this, as well as the front, side, and perspective screenshots. The easiest way to get a nice screenshot, I'm actually going to recommend you download a proprietary software called ShareX, which you can just find by Googling ShareX and then downloading it. It's really just a software for making screenshots easier. I already have it downloaded to my computer, so there's no like download button for me. It's right there. The nice thing about ShareX is it will automatically crop to your viewport window if you want to take a screenshot of it. So I have my hotkey for it set to Control Print Screen. So I'm just going to turn on wireframe and actually, hold on 1 second. I want to make that look slightly rounder. I'm just going to do Control Print Screen. It'll give me this. I make sure my cursor is off to the side so that it's not like in the viewport when I'm trying to take the screenshot of the fire hydrant. And you notice this dotted line, like the marching ants, will just like circle around your viewport. I hope OBS is capturing this. And I just click that and it will take a screenshot of that whole thing. And then you do the same for the side. Make sure wireframe's on. And then like the same for the front as well. Make sure it's not an X-ray or anything and that wireframe is still on. Then make sure wireframe is on for this one as well. You can do the same thing with ShareX, and if you... So it's not automatically going to crop to this whole area at once, all 4 of your viewports, and only do one at a time. So I'm gonna just use the arrow keys to move it very precisely, and then drag it down here, then use arrow keys to move it again. And there, that's how you can get a screenshot of your 4 view planes all at once. And then you'll take your 4 different screenshots and render that you take and the Maya file, and you can send them all to a zip folder that you'll name Spring in 23, CG225, Samson, your name, firehydrant.zip. At least I think that's what the specs for it should be on Moodle. Yeah, it's right there. You can just copy and paste that onto all of your files. And make sure you have like fire hydrant 01 front, 02 side, 03 perspective, 04 all views, hit 05 render for your 5 different images. ShareX will automatically save your screenshots as PNGs. Ideally, they should be JPEGs, but it's too much of a pain to... I think you can go into ShareX settings and make it so that the screenshots it saves are saved as JPEGs if you go into like task settings for it. I think there's an option for that, but I don't really want to find where that is right now. Because I can't even guarantee that you'll actually use ShareX to do this. Oh yeah, make sure you put your reference image into the folder as well. So like you would do all these and like send it to a zip folder. and then you'd just like upload that right here to Moodle. I guess there are references on the Moodle page, but I prefer to find my own so that it's like nice and nearly orthographic with the way that the picture is taken. Is that if you can, if possible, when finding reference images, it's best to find one that it is like not like in perspective and like fisheye lens or anything. All right. I think that is all for the fire hydrant assignment. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next video. I sound like such a YouTuber.